Are we actually live? Oh my goodness. I'm having problems with OBS and it keeps telling me we're not live. We are live. Oh, hi, I'm Cash, trying to figure out if we're live or not because apparently OBS can't find my YouTube and it's all going crazy. So I believe we're live. Yes, we are. Yes, welcome to Monday Night Football with Cash as he's trying to figure out what's going on. And we're going to go over the weekend's results and talk about what's been going on with everybody in their games and the old referees and VAR and cover most of the games over the weekend. I do want to get into a couple of other little topics. Some of the topics you probably well know, but I'm going to talk about this thing with Nottingham Forest and 2 games in a week, and actually explain why that's difficult and why people don't understand why playing 2 games a week is a change, and the actual difference of it, and what goes on in it, and the difference of playing 2 games in a week. Um, let's see if I am live though. Why can't I find myself live? Mm, am I live or am I not live? Uh, can you see me okay, buddy? Because I can't pull up the live stream. Am I live? Mm, I'm having a problem here, boys and girls. So bear with me while I try to figure out what is going on. Mm. Can you see me fine, buddy? Because I can't find me. That is insane. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, I think I've got me now. Yes, I think I've got it. It made 2 live streams. That was the problem. Oh, we're finally there. Yes, fantastic. Um, so let's start from the top. About a couple of minutes in, technical issues. That yeah, I don't know anything about why it was doing that, and but I'm going to go over the results from the weekend and talk about the differences and I think that's happened on some of those games. And talk about some of the referee decisions in those games while we try to figure out what's going on here. Because I know I just saw James about a second ago. See if he can jump in here and say hello. Apparently, he's changed his little avatar to an Eagles, Crystal Palace thing now because they're unbeaten for 18. He's suddenly a Palace fan just because he goes every week. I'm also going to get into a couple of other little things, bit of coaching courses, and we're also going to talk about upcoming games for the weekend. But just to go over what's really happened this weekend, let's start on Saturday, shall we? And the first game, Brentford and Manchester United, which was quite frankly, I expected Manchester United to lose. And if you didn't expect Manchester United to lose, hello, mate, how are you? Um, yeah, if you didn't expect Manchester United to lose against Brentford, I don't know what rock you've been under. This nonsense, like I called out last week, where Manchester United beat 10-man Chelsea, and it was supposed to be something, glorious that, oh, look, United are back. You beat 10 men. It was absolute rubbish. Yeah, did you see the fact? Yeah, Eagles till I die. All of a sudden, he's got his Palace logo. We know you're an Eagle, but now suddenly your Palace logo shows up on your name, which I think is hilarious. Um, you've jinxed them now. They'll lose this weekend. You know that, right? You'll be to blame. You put the jinx on them. But like Brentford have had a good start to the season. Let's be honest. And Manchester United are awful. Um, as a football club, they're a dying institution. If they change Ruben Amorim, they're not going to get anyone decent to replace him. And the football club is a dead football club. What do you mean a dead football club? Well, you've spent hundreds of millions and you keep spending hundreds of millions. And every time you buy players, you kill them. there's this big thing in the coaching circles which they don't talk about in professionals or most places really, um, and they talk about it to basically steal talent. They call it player development, right? There's no real such thing, but there is. So the most important thing with player development is you have to be winning games. And if you don't win games, you're not really developing players. Dynamo Kiev away on Thursday. That'll be interesting. That's the game you'll lose then because of your little avatar. Actually, I don't think you will. I think you'll beat Dynamo Kiev. Um, and one of the big things, if you want to be better, if you take the manager, for instance, Jurgen Klopp, all of his players became better underneath Jurgen Klopp. He developed those players, and then the team becomes better. You make every individual player better, and the team becomes better. If you're focused on the team and the players start, that's a Pep Guardiola system, by the way, focusing on the team and just discarding players and getting in new ones. It's a very sort of different business model. It's a very sort of different model to create your team. And United don't have an identity as a football club anymore. They don't have an identity through their academy. You don't see academy graduate. Well, you do, Kobe Mainu, and then they bench them and throw them away. They don't know who they are anymore as a football club. They think that they're this institution of football and they've got the right to win these games, and they just do not. And they aren't anywhere near at the level as a football club that they actually believe they are. If they don't take themselves seriously as someone who can get relegated, Manchester United will get relegated. If they don't wake up and think that they're not this wonderful institution bedrock in football, they're going to get relegated. Dynamo Kiev was a Russian club, and the Russians, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, Dynamo Kiev, yeah, I don't know. They change the rules every other week. There is a huge possibility that United could go down. If you look at their last games, last 30 odd games, they are in relegation form. And if that continues, changing Ruben Amorim isn't going to change Manchester United's fortunes. The same bad players, and this goes back to something I was talking about last week, if you remember, about that they've got to fear the manager. If they always know the manager's going to get replaced, well, they don't care because they don't have to play for their spot. They always know the manager's going to go, so they don't have to worry about it. If you look at the lesser clubs, they know they're not going to be replacing the manager anytime soon, so everyone gets on and does their job. When you're up there in the top clubs, in the Chelseas, in the Manchester Uniteds, players don't necessarily play to the best of their ability because they've got their contract, they're doing their thing, and what does it matter? It doesn't to them. Half my blood is from that region. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see, DC. We'll see. But I have a real strong suspicion that United will lose against Sunderland. They're going to keep pressuring. Well, if they keep pursuing without Amorim, I'm telling you, they will get relegated. He can't coach football. There's a massive difference of like, okay, so let's just take a coach. What's your job? You're in the results business. Your job is to get results. You're not here to tell everyone your whizzy philosophy of passing the ball out of the back and look at the maintained possession and RXGs, look at the stats, and coming out going, look at the stats. That's why I've got XG down here as well, because people don't know properly what XG is and how it's utilized properly. If you've been paying attention on my Patreon, I did a long, video of Nottingham Forest of the first and second half. I'm actually going to do that again this week on the Forest, if I can, on the Forest European game, and I'm going to do you a proper full breakdown. I'm only going to do one half though, and when I start doing it properly, you're going to see why I'm only going to do one half, because it'll probably take me 8 hours to do, maybe longer. And you're going to start to understand how to actually look at things properly with a critical eye and an analytical eye. It's completely different. What manager feared, but I have a feeling that would happen. It equals the ultras. Yeah, but you see, that's the problem with England. They don't have ultras. They don't have like the German league where the fans own half the fan base. No, Sunderland won't lose at Old Trafford. Yeah, I don't think they'll lose. I won't be surprised if they win at all. Ajax is a player development team. Well, see, Ajax. Okay, so I know an awful lot about Ajax. Be very careful, like Ajax, because Ajax, Manchester City is using the Ajax system. Barcelona use the Ajax system, and they're also in a league where it isn't competitive. There isn't people spending 200 million on a squad. It's just not happening. So you can afford to do certain things when you aren't in those ruthless areas with player development. You can put players in, right? So I used to explain this to someone. This argument with this player, they're like, I'm not a right back. I'm said, you're playing right back. I'm a right winger. I know you're a right winger, but you're playing right back. And they're like, oh, but. I said, listen, you've been done dirty by so many years of poor development. Okay, you can't play football properly. You've got loads of speed. You've got loads. You can dribble the ball a bit. You can cross it pretty decently. But all the fundamentals, your first touch, your positioning, and all these things that you can't do, you're going to learn as a right back. And you go, why can't I learn it on the wing? Well, because you don't get the ball enough on the wing. As a left back and a right back, you touch the ball an awful lot. So I'm going to put you there, and I can develop you over a season because my team was going to win. I didn't need to worry. We're going to win. And then I can actually get you and use you forward forever. Or I could put you on the wing for a year and then get rid of you from my team because you're going to be useless and you can't do anything for me after a single year because the level of the team is going to go up and you're not going to go up with the level of the team. So there is this huge thing when you're understanding player development properly and you're trying to actually build players. But remember, why would a manager, goes back to my initial point, develop a player if he's going to get fired in 6 months? He doesn't care. He's not there. City did the Matthew Nunes. He was brought in as a CAM and then played right back. Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, right back. If you can spot a good coach, because you'll get a player that's new and he'll stick him in a left back or right back, and he's not supposed to play there just because he knows he's going to touch the ball a lot, and then he'll move him out of that position later on. Do it all the time. But you see, that's what a good coach would know because they've got a history of coaching and doing and failing and getting beaten, and then seeing what the other coach is doing and going, oh, that's smart. I'm gonna do that. I tried explaining this like when I came back to the UK after coaching and doing whatever, and they were like, oh yeah, but how much have you coached? Where have you done this? And I tried explaining to them, you coach one team for 1 hour. Sorry, it's not 1 hour. One training session. We're gonna call it one unit. Okay, one unit. So they do 1 unit of training a week. I coached 9 teams in 1 year. By the way, you can't coach 9 teams in 1 year. It was a complete and utter disaster. I learned a lot from doing that completely wrong. And explaining to them, right, so you run that 1 unit a week. You run that one training session. You do all your evaluations after it. I do 9 in a week. So in a year, in your 1 year, I've done 8 more years of coaching than you in 1 year. I've failed 8 more times than you. I've succeeded 8 more times than you in 1 year because I've coached so many more teams than you in 1 year. And what happens with a lot of these, like Ruben Amorim and stuff, he doesn't have the experience to understand what he's doing right and wrong. You might do as a fan and looking at it and going, oh yeah, but then remember, knowing what to do and how to implement that on a week out basis is a completely different thing. Trying to transition those players from he should be playing a 4-3-3 and then moving it to a 3-4-3. 3-4-3 is my favourite system. But you can't do it without winning games because you can't develop players without winning games. And developing players isn't necessarily making them better as well. It's also about their mindset. And that's when I get onto Nottingham Forest and playing 2 games in Europe, because Palace are going to have this problem as well. Okay. It's a different mindset when you're playing in Europe and you're playing 2 games a week. And it is not about this physical pressure. This is what people just don't understand because they've never been explained it to it properly. And in Cash Story Time today, we're going to give you a story, boys and girls, about... That's going to be funny. It'll be fun. Is that why the American League playing Mount as a wing-back? No, he played Mount as a wing-back because by accident. Completely and utterly played Mason Mount as a wing-back by accident. Yeah, the 4-3-3 is for coaches that can't coach. Okay? I do this, I should explain this quite a lot. All right, so let's see if I can get my drawing tool out and I'll show you why the 4-3-3 is genuinely for coaches that can't coach. So when you've got your 4 at the back, right? Now you can invert the diamond. You can have it this way, or you can have it so it's going this way with two DMs, right? Right. Let's just erase that and start again. But the reason they play a 4-3-3, all right, it's because they can't coach football. What happens is when the ball goes wide, you've always got 3 players. When the ball's over here, you've always got 3 players. When the ball's in the midfield, you've always got 3 players. That's the reason they coach the 4-3-3. Right? And there's more to it than that as well, because I can break it all the way down to the under 10s in the academy and how the academy system is set up and what they do, because they'll play with 3 at the back in the academy system. And they'll have 1, 2, three, and so the left back and the right back will push forward as the wing backs. They'll do the same in midfield. It's complete disaster, right? However, when you're coaching a 4-4-2, which is the most versatile system, what you've got a problem with now is, remember, they've got three out in the wing, you've got two, because they've got their, let's just go, X's. Centre backs, left back, right back. They'll have their DM, their two centre midfielders, and their wide players. If you look, they've always outnumbered you. You've got two, they've got three. You've got two, they've got three. You've got two, they've got three. The only places you'll outnumber them is up front, is if you can get to them the ball, which normally you can't, so therefore they get to win. It's a very, very easy system to coach. You just squeeze the flanks, you just squeeze the middle, you just pressure, and then when you win the ball, you play it to the other side, and away you go. That's it. And then you try to cross the ball. I got Palace down as getting a draw away. Yeah, I'd be happy with a draw away for Palace, but I think they can win it, honestly. If they get there, tough travelling. Because I want to talk about the tough travelling, because that's so important. Right? People don't understand that. When I get into story time, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Yeah, I do believe, though, in that Manchester United game, Brentford should have had a player sent off from an awful. Let me ask you a question. Bruno Fernandes, who doesn't miss penalties, is suddenly missing penalties. There's a conundrum for you. A player known for his penalty-taking ability is suddenly not good at taking penalties. Trying to get his coach fired, or just missing penalties? Let's get on to the big topic of the... Oh, no, wait, hold on, sorry. Sorry, James. Now, actually, I'm trying to go through in order. Chelsea-Brighton. Talk a little bit about Chelsea-Brighton. Chelsea have just sort of thrown the towel in for the season, really. 2 games, twice getting players sent off in those 2 games. They've just thrown away 6 points. Now, it's still a long way to go in the season, but that's awful for them. Now, also, this is another coach that can't coach. If you're a Premier League team, you're at home and you're winning 1-0 and you get a player sent off, you should be able to shut up shop and get a 1-0 win or a tie 1-1. There's no reason for you to lose 3-1 at home with 10 men. Absolutely not. It's harder to play against 10 men than it is 11, because the 10 men can sit in, don't have to pressure the ball, don't have to run, because they've got no intention of winning the ball. It's a completely different setup. You just sit in, all right? Yeah, you can have the ball, we're not pressuring you. Normally you'd be pressuring and moving forward and then coming back and then moving forward. No, just sit in. No, you have the ball. Do what you want. Just kick it away. No. And they've got no understanding or ability to do that. It is shocking. Oh, yeah, he's taking a huge shatter. Yeah. To be fair, he should never be in centre midfield. He's not a centre midfielder. So, but it's also, to me, it's like if I have a player sent off, okay, everything changes. 10 minutes, we shut up shop. We know what we're going to do, and then we'll start to try to see if we can actually try to get into the game. That's if we're not winning. But if we're winning, you're not scoring on us. There's no way on earth you're scoring on us. And the fact that Chelsea concede 3 goals, it's just poor coaching. And I'm sick of this people saying, oh, but the players... Yeah, it's also the players' fault as well. Like, the players aren't good enough. There's no way... and it goes down to Chelsea's model with Tom Bowley, though. He's doing the 10-year talent cycle, which, again, I've addressed in a video. If you don't know what the 10-year talent cycle is, go and trawl through my videos, find that, because it's a long process to understand that. But what he doesn't have is any experienced heads in there to pull everyone in together, shut down the shop, and try to get a proper result, which is awful. And that's what they needed. That's what they needed. Might be sacked, really? You reckon Ruskell will be sacked? Would take Xabi manager. Why would you take Xabi and manager United? Same thing's going to happen in a year. He's not going to get any results. And he's going to get fired. A new manager at Manchester United is not the problem at Manchester United. Anyone who think, by the way, can Ruben Amorim coach? No. Is he a good manager? No. Changing him, will it change anything at United? No. That's the problem. It's a multifaceted problem. And if you look at it with a single lens of it's either the players or it's the coach, you will never fix the problem. And because most people in football, most people, like 95%, are absolute morons, they either think got to blame the coach, the manager, the system, the players. It's bigger than that. This is a whole attitude from the top down all the way through the football club. It's huge. And you can't reverse that culture very, very quickly. It isn't. It's a difficult thing to do. And the problem with Manchester United is you're dealing with legacy morons like the Neville in the media, spouting nonsense and adding pressure onto the club all of the time. That pressure won't go away. It's never going to move. Everything 1-0 up. Oh, goody, goody, goody. No, 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 decent, no, decent man to take the United job. They'll just get fired. They'll just get fired. It's not worth it. Um, uh, so let's get on to the Arsenal Newcastle game. Actually, I think I'm jumping a little bit forward here on the games for the weekend. Oh, there's this Crystal Palace Liverpool game. Did anyone watch that? No, no one here was interested in the Crystal Palace Liverpool game, were they? No one here. No one's here is interested in the Crystal Palace Liverpool game. Um, yeah, the whole entire club, yeah, is rotten to the core. Yeah, United need to get relegated if they want to be big again. They need to get relegated. They need to just go, just go. Um, been saying for weeks though that Liverpool haven't been playing well, and they just seem to score goals and get away with it. And it looked like they were going to get away with one at Crystal Palace. But they didn't. Crystal Palace should have won this game 5 or 6, though. That's the one thing that I'd be sort of a bit annoyed if I was a Palace fan. It's like we created all these opportunities and we missed some sitters. Like we really did. Because you're not going to get those next week. And you've got to score those opportunities when they come because that confidence flows. Think of the difference if Palace had beaten Liverpool by the score that they should have beaten Liverpool by, which was 5-0. That's a different score now. Palace are beating them 5-0. You're walking away going, oh, hold on a minute. What's just happened to Palace? When you're going to go and play away in Europe, guess what Dynamo Kiev are doing? They beat Liverpool 5-0. Uh-oh. The pressure goes on and it goes on and it goes on. And the morale at Crystal Palace goes higher and higher and higher. That's why it's so important to take your chances, score those goals, and just put the game away. You have to. You have to put the game away. You really do. And they almost got done. Palace, they almost got done by Liverpool because you could feel that it's the way Liverpool have been after they got that tying goal. Was it a handball, wasn't it? Got a problem with that as well. Alisson was brilliant. Alisson Becker to me, I always, you know how I am. I don't like to say he's the best in the world or he's this or that. Um, but I think Alisson Becker is probably the best keeper in the world, hands down. Because I always like to put them in the top three, based on form, who they're playing, and how it rotates and changes. Oh, he had a great performance. Alisson had an absolutely great performance because you just never know. Yeah, like what I mean by that is you take an Edison for instance. I know he's not about anymore, but or a Donnarumma, and they go, "Oh, Donnarumma's the best goalkeeper in the world," based on what? Based on being at Paris Saint-Germain or a couple of saves at Manchester City. How are you gauging being the best in the world? And that's why I don't like those questions because we do that on the last 5 years. Because if for the last 5 years it'll be Alisson, it won't be Donnarumma. So if you have these weird ambiguity questions that people throw, who's the best player in the world? To me, it's such a moronic question because you've got to define what you mean in what time frame and all the rules through all of that. Like that's why I always say definitely the top three in the world. But yeah. Oh, wasn't Henderson at Manchester United at one point? Well, wasn't he there? Yeah, yeah. I think he was. Yeah. Why isn't Chiesa starting more? Chiesa's injury prone, like genuinely injury prone, and I just don't think Slot trusts him enough yet. I think he's been a fringe player, and I do like Chiesa. I do like him. He's always got a smile on his face. He's one of those players you want around the squad. He kind of reminds me of Andy Robinson's always got a smile on his face, always laughing and joking. You want him around. But watch out for Crystal Palace, right? Because Crystal Palace are going to have a downfall. Sorry, James, this is going to happen. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to link both of these two together now because it's going to go into a bit of story time with Cash. Okay? And this is what's going to happen. So when you're playing away 2 games in a week, I was listening to Forest Fan TV because sometimes I go over there on Forest Fan TV and give my opinion. And I was talking about the 2 games a week. They were talking about playing 2 games a week. I said, you can't play 2 games a week. Teams like Forest and Palace can't play 2 games a week. And they don't understand it. They could play a game of football every day. It's not about playing football. It's not about that. And that's what people don't understand. But it's about playing football. So let's just generalize that. Playing football, what people normally mean is, do they have the physical attributes to run around the field twice a week for 90 minutes and play football? Yes, they can do that. That isn't the problem. They're playing in Europe. That's the problem. So let me explain this to you in a way that puts context around this whole bubble, and it'll help you understand something, and you can take this for many, many other things in life, right? You can use this for many, many other scenarios, right? I'm telling you now, wait until I finish saying what I'm saying. So years ago, like in the 2003, 2004, the Worldwide Sports Disney Showcase, on the, on their massive fields, they used to have a soccer show. They still have a soccer showcase. It's one of the largest youth tournaments in the world. The under-17 national team from Japan, France, Netherlands, everyone goes there to play. Okay. You'd get the under-17s from different regions from the men's US national teams. Then you have all the lower teams going down on both age groups, boys and girls. Okay? You go to Disney World. You're playing in a tournament. So my buddy Channing used to run that for Disney World. And you can't get into that tournament unless you're one of the best teams, not just in a country, in the world. It's a top tournament. You're going there to compete against some of the best teams in the world. I think Chelsea own the rights to it now. I think Chelsea take their academy teams there and do all sorts there. It's a massive event. I go there with my under 11s, I think. No, under 10, something like that. And you're not allowed to play up a year. We play up a year. We play up in the top bracket up a year, and we do really well. But we go there. What do you think a bunch of 10-year-olds are like when they're at Disney World? They go away to a football tournament. They've got to go away. It's Christmas Eve. It's New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve. They've changed it now because we split it into Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve. What do you think a bunch of kids are like? 10-year-olds going to Disney World to play football. Have a little think about that for a second. Is your team going to be at maximum performance when you've got a bunch of 10-year-olds and you're taking them to Disney World to play football? No. What happens the next year you go there? I'll tell you what happens by the 4th year you're there. Your kids they hate it. Oh, we're not going to Disney World again. Oh, God. The first year they're there, their minds are frazzled. They're emotionally broken. When these players are going away to play in Europe, they're going to Disney World. It's the first time they're going to Europe to play a game. You go, oh, was it? Yeah. It's the first time Nottingham Forest are playing Real Betis. Any of these players have played Real Betis. To them, it's Disney World. They're going out with all of the pomp of the European, the Champions League music or the Europa League music going off, and they're going out and they're off their plane, and we're in Europe. It's their Disney World. They're emotionally fried. It's not they physically can't do it. I watched that Forest game, and on that review in the second half, you can see that they're mentally gone. They don't have the mental capability to continue making the passes because they've frazzled their brains. They're too excited. They're human beings. They're excited to go and play in Europe. They're going to be excited to go and play Dynamo Kiev. Have Crystal Palace ever played Dynamo Kiev? They're writing history for their football club, Crystal Palace. Do you think these players are not excited to go over and play Dynamo Kiev? Like, since that game against beating Liverpool, they might have had 20 minutes or so, but now all they're thinking about is getting on that plane and going over to play Dynamo Kiev. I'm telling you, it's a completely different state of mind. And as soon as that's over, then they'll crash and they've got to come back into the Premier League and go to play whoever it is, Newcastle away. It's not the same. It's not the same. So their emotions go up and down, and they get crushed. After next season, if they're there, they'll be, we don't have to go play bloody Dynamo Kiev. Do you remember that trip? Yeah, I hate that. But not now. Not at the moment. To them, it's all new and shiny, and it's so exciting. It takes all of their energy, mental energy away from them. Boof, it goes. You have to keep them all calm, which you can't do because everyone's excited, And it's like the other excitement part of it is the families. It's like, oh, can I get tickets to come away? I want to go away to Europe and watch you play in the Europa League. Oh yeah, great, and all of that. Massive hysteria that they don't really care about you playing in the week to week, but now they care about you because you're going away to play something and it's all magical. They're all going to Disneyland and they're all tired when they come back. And that's why playing 2 games a week for some of these lesser clubs is difficult because they haven't done it yet. Newcastle found it when they first went into the Champions League. What was that? They were all going to Disneyland every week. We're playing Barcelona. We're playing Paris Saint-Germain. They're all in Disneyland. They're all too excited and all their emotional energy is gone. And then they've got to come back down to earth and sort it out for the Premier League. And that's what these clubs are going through. And when they figure that out and they understand that, then they'll be able to control it. And that's the difference of what I'm talking about with the 2 games a week. It isn't the physical part of it. It's all the mental side of it. Let's leave. Should we just leave? Shall I leave that there? How about I leave that there? Yeah. I'll leave that there. Actually, I might leave that one there too. There we go. Okay, so I did want to talk a little bit about Liverpool and Arne Slot before we move on, because I do think that there's so much going wrong with Liverpool. They don't know where to look. No, most people haven't thought about it. Like, I've done so much in football, and I've done run governing bodies. I could honestly, I'm not being hyperbolic. I could go in and fix Manchester United in about 6 weeks. I would be banned from football. They would never let me near football stadiums or anything ever again. I would be setting people's Ferraris on fire, but I would fix that damn football club in about 6 weeks. I know all of the scams. I know all of the things that the coaches are doing behind the scenes. Like, these guys probably don't know. I guarantee you there's 4 or 5 coaches or members of staff there sabotaging this whole thing that's making millions. I promise you that's what's really going on. A couple of people are just lining their pockets, milking that cow. We're consultants, and then milking that football club for all it's worth. I promise you it's going on there. Oh yeah, eagles on the shoulder. Eagles on the shoulder. Yeah, and people don't realise it because they've not gone through it. Go on holiday. Go on. How many times do you go on holiday and come back and say you need a holiday from going on holiday? Happens all the time. People just think one-dimensionally. It's just about the physical part, about running around. It's got nothing to do with that. They don't care about the running around. It's the fact that they're so mentally tired, they can't make the right pass. They can't make the right selection. You watch that Forest game on the Patreon in the second half, and I'm going to do a better breakdown. I stopped counting at 11 or 12 times. Forest gave the ball away simply because they couldn't make a 5-yard pass. You could see it. They were tired. They weren't physically tired. They were done here. They were absolutely done here, and that's the issue. And a lot of people just, I don't know. They think because they've gone through the scenario. So think about it if you were a player and you've gone through that, but you play in the Champions League every year. So you didn't have this period where your club never made the Champions League and suddenly you got back into this massive euphoria. That's what happened to Newcastle when they got up there, and then they had a really bad season in the Premier League. Do you remember? And then they couldn't get back up there for another, until now. That's what happened. But they just don't know about it. They're not smart enough. And it's not just being smart enough. That's just me being arrogant. It's more the fact that they don't think about it. They aren't capable of reflecting of what's really going on. They just follow the same snippets that they see in mainstream media. Oh, it's this. It's not. It's more to it than that. It's much, much more to it than that. But Liverpool with Arne Slot, Florian Wirtz, he's just got to bench him. He doesn't understand what he's doing with Florian Wirtz. Reminds me of United in a certain season and a half. Yep, yep. Um, Florian Wirtz, they're trying to shoehorn a system and make a whole football team around Florian Wirtz, which is not a bad idea because he will be one of the best players in the world. But it's not working. The difference in the Bundesliga and the Premier League, the physical pace of the game, he can't cope with right now. So you just need to bring him on for 20, 25 minutes in the second half in certain games until you can get embedded in. It took him a whole year to get Ryan Gravenberch bedded in. A whole year. Look at the player he is now. He barely played for Liverpool, and every time he did, he stunk it up. That's what you kind of have to do with Florian Wirtz, and stop trying to play a system, to accommodate him. Because when he played on the left wing, Liverpool might as well not have had a left winger because he didn't do anything. He's not a left winger. So did Palace play well? Yeah, but Liverpool set themselves. Liverpool got ripped apart by Palace, ripped apart, and a lot of that was Slot set the team up wrong. But then Crystal Palace needed to still capitalise on it. It wasn't just the fact that, it's one thing. It's more than that. So if he keeps trying to play Florian Wirtz, Liverpool will lose. He needs to bench him, build his team, get his team settled, get his left back settled, get his right back settled, and then start bringing him back into the team. If he doesn't, he's going to lose. Mm-mm. It's different for a striker, though. I know you're talking about Haaland there. It's different. For the certain positions, that's different. Centre backs and strikers are different than centre midfielders. It's not just about the physical nature. It's about the time and space on the ball. Okay? So your decision making, one of the things, if you really want to know how slow a team is playing, I do this. I do that in training sessions. You go, I receive the ball, I pass it. Receive the ball, pass it. But it's got to be, right? Go watch like the Spanish league and watch how long the claps are between the time he receives the ball and the time he passes the ball. Okay? Do that and you'll be able to see the difference in the speed of play. Because everyone says, it's really fast in the Premier League, but you've got no sort of way to comprehend that. And a really easy way to identify whether or not it's quick or not is clap. First touch, time he receives it. And you can start seeing how quick the speed of play is. Do that in European games. You can do that a lot. And you can say, this is actually a fast game, even though I think, because the eyes are deceiving sometimes. You're watching a game of football, you're watching the ball flow, but you don't have a point of reference. You can go, right, yeah, for 4 minutes I did a little clap count. And on my clap count, it was really fast. I couldn't keep up clap counting. It was too quick. It's a great way to do it. Remember, we're here to tell you all the secrets that no one tells you because most people don't know or pay any attention. Oh, the things I know in football. Yeah, also, though, with the striker, it's kind of funny. Because the striker scores a goal and it doesn't matter how bad he's playing, he still thinks he's amazing. It's that simple. It's that simple. With a centre midfielder, it's much, much more difficult. Much more difficult. Who else are we talking about this weekend? Man City, Burnley. I think Burnley's got a problem. I said it in my review. That review's on Patreon if you've not seen it. Just because it was 6 goals, and when there's lots more goals, I want to let it play. Burnley's got a problem. Burnley sort of keep themselves and pride themselves on having a strong defensive unit. And if they don't have a strong defensive unit, they don't have anything to hold on to. I think they had some incredible record, like in the 48 games, they conceded like 28 goals or something stupid. I mean, they had so many clean sheets. That's what got them out of the championship. But that's their bread and butter. They don't concede 5 goals. They don't concede 5 goals in 10 games. They just conceded it in 1 game. And not only did they concede it, if you watch that, you see their centre-backs, the way their centre-backs are reacted. That's a big deal. One day we'll get a full round of the places Cash has coached and played for. No, can't. That'll take too long. Takes long. I've been back in the UK, right? And I drive around and go, I've played there. Like the amount of time, I've played there. I was going past the football field. I can't remember where we were. And I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Can we stop? And everyone's like, why? I've not played at that football field. I've never been here. That's amazing. Very rarely there's a place I've driven past and not coached or played at. Well, it's not about conceding a lot of the Etihad. See, that's nonsense. That's the thing. And by the way, last time Burnley were up in the Etihad, they had a completely different defence. So trying to use historical nonsense to feel our narrative, don't do that in football. Like, don't. What it basically like, that's a very, very poor way to look at football analytics. Oh, we always lose when we go there, so we. No, why did you lose? Why did you concede 5 goals? Because last time you played there was 3 years ago. You're a completely different team. Your team got promotion through the championship. You're stronger. Like, it doesn't make any difference. Like, that's not the same Manchester City team it was 3 years ago. This is a weak, poor Man City team. It's not the same. I'll go with footy. Right. Right. So the other thing I think the City is, I think that's sort of papered over the cracks as well, as they're not as good as they think they are. But Sunderland against Nottingham Forest, this is a big one. I did want to talk a little bit about this as well. Forest, I said I'd give Ange 10 games before a game a proper review. If he right, this is also going to bring in XG as well. So I'm going to bring XG into this whole conversation because this is all the same conversation here as well, right? So when you're a coach and you're trying to bring in, Guardiola has a run. Yeah, he's run out. Yeah, he hasn't got the energy left. I don't blame him. He's done too much. Wouldn't be surprised if he quits football. And I don't mean like he won't ever coach again. He'll do like Jurgen Klopp. He's going to take a couple of years out. He's done for a bit. Okay, so Ange Postecoglou is a classic example of what I call an XG coach. Okay, can't coach, but he can XG coach. So what's that mean? Well, look at all the chances that we created. Yeah, but you didn't score any of them. Yeah, but we created loads of chances. Yeah, but you lost 4-0. Yeah, but look, we got all these chances. Yeah, but you lost 2-0 again. Yeah, but look at all these chances. Yeah, but you lost 3-0 again, right? That's what Ange Postecoglou is to me. Are Sunderland overperforming? No, I don't think they are. I think the standard in the Premier League is so. We were talking about it last week. I think the standard of the Premier League has just dropped right off. I don't think these teams are very good in the Premier League. I don't. For Championship teams to come up and do what they're doing, you can't tell me the Championship's got stronger. That's just not true. What's more likely? The Premiership's got weaker. Yeah, most likely. Because if the Premier League was stronger, they would have won Champions League. They didn't. What English teams were in the final of the Champions League? Oh yeah, none. So it's not the Premier League being strong, because if it was, they'd be in the. So it's completely and utterly the Premier League is getting weaker and weaker. Yeah, sounds like Arteta. Yeah, 100% sounds like Arteta. So when you're doing football analytics, and I'm going to show you like on my Patreon when I do that this week, how complex we get into it, right? But it isn't just about the analysis. So when you do an analysis, what you're supposed to do is you do a report to give to a coach. Like, well, at the high levels, right? So if you're at Barcelona or Real Madrid or like a proper club, so what you do, you come in, you analyse the game, you'd get core sections, bearing in mind you'd have a brief because you'd know what your coach is doing, what the outline of what the coach wants to do. I don't have that with Ange, so I'm doing it on the fly. So then what you do is you get the brief of that and you try to fix all of those mistakes with coaching sessions and plans, and you do that in a presentation. You do that in a real quick slide presentation so we can look at it, see what coaching sessions that you've suggested for him to do to change those things that you've found that are a problem, okay? And go away and make that happen or not happen on the training field, because he already knows half of what you're going to tell him anyway, and he's already got an idea of the training sessions he wants to run anyway. So that's where it comes into XG. I think Sunderland have a manager. Yeah, he's got his head on. Yeah, he has. Yeah, and they spent a lot of money as well. I didn't actually look into how much money Sunderland spent, but they did spend a lot of money in the transfer window. So that's where XG comes into. So think about this. You've got to make a presentation and you've got to give it to your coach every week after every game. So, all right, and you're going to analyse what's going on, what's going right, what's going wrong. So now, why expected goals is on there is because we've created 9 opportunities to score, and we've scored 2. Right? So that's where the expected goals come in. But it's more complicated than that. That's what the idiot Gary Neville would say on Sky Sports. Oh, look, they've got a 4.2 expected goals, so they should have scored 4 goals. No, that's not what XG is used for, you absolute monkey clown face. What it's used for is to go, right, we've created 9 opportunities. 2 are by luck. 2 are because we've created them. 2 are by, and then trying to consolidate and recreate those scenarios for the week after. Right? And then getting the ball in the same areas. Right, if the ball's in this area, we score. If the ball's in that area, we don't score. Okay, but why don't we score? Well, because when the ball's in that area, this clown keeps shooting, and when we're in this area, this clown passes. Oh, so it's how you manage that XG and that expectation to get the results you want to move the team forward. It's not just going, oh look, he should have scored because he kicked the ball in front of the goal. Yeah, but who? What foot did he use? How did he kick it? How did he receive the ball? Was the ball in the air? Was it on the ground? How did it pass to him? All of those things have to be broken down and explained before you can quantify that figure. Is it actually any good on the XG? XG is just a dot for you to build a picture around to see, right, okay, right, what can we do around that now? Is there any valuable data there? And think of it on the other side of it. If you're letting the other team constantly get XG or goal scoring opportunities, you can see if your defenders are pants. Why is my right-sided defender always conceding opportunities? Well, because your right-sided centre-back is covering for your right-back who's gone up the field. Because he's Trent Alexander-Arnold who's bugging off up the field, and your right centre-back is always 2-on-1, so he's getting in trouble. So on the picture of it, it goes, oh, the right centre-back's the problem. Well, he's not. It's the right-back. He's never there. He's always gone on holiday. Now he's on holiday in Spain, apparently. I think it's the best he's played for Liverpool for a while. He's on holiday in Spain. And and that's what you use the XG for, to help paint a picture around what's going on. And then you use that for your coaching sessions or for your analytics session. Go, right, okay, we keep giving up chances because 2 players keep getting out of position. So this 1 player gets overrun. Now we need to fix that to cut down the XG. But of course, they just think it's simple because simple's easy. And if you have to talk about it properly and actually explain it, people don't want to listen. They just want something simple. Yeah. Wise man once said, you go in possession, I'll go in with 3 points. 100%. Look, Trent's an idiot. I'm telling you, Trent's an idiot. He shouldn't never have left Liverpool. He's going to regret playing for Real Madrid. There's a difference with playing for Liverpool as Trent Alexander-Arnold or playing for Real Madrid. Do you know what happened to David Beckham at Real Madrid? Go watch the David Beckham documentary on Netflix. They told David Beckham that he'll never play football again for Real Madrid. It's David Beckham. What do you think they'd do to Trent Alexander-Arnold? Like, they don't care about you. They care about one thing, winning. And they just lost by 2. That's quite funny. Yeah, huge. Ooh. I did want to talk a little bit about the referees on the weekend. It was in that Newcastle game. In that Newcastle-Arsenal game, I can't believe, first off, Arsenal weren't given that penalty on Gyökeres. That, to me, was absolutely insane. That's a penalty all day long. People trying to justify that the keeper touched the ball after the player was running around him so he can kill him. That's insane. It's absolutely insane trying to justify. It's like the referee is your abuser and you're trying to let the person that abuses you, justify, oh, it's okay that you abuse me. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I love you anyway. No. It's just awful. And then the handball as well. Some of these decisions are absolutely nuts. I mean, absolutely nuts. And I cannot believe that there isn't mass rioting from the Arsenal fans. I think it's because they won the game. Oh yeah, 28% possession against Liverpool. Yeah. Possession doesn't matter. I'll tell you, it's for bad coaches. All that stuff is for bad coaches. Good coaches go, we're winning 1-0. Shut up. That's what they do. We're winning 1-0. What are you going to do? We're winning on 1-0. Yeah. Have all the possession you want. But the referee in that game, there was so much controversy. I was watching it on go on Twitter because apparently he's a Liverpool fan, and it was just madness. I just don't think anybody trusts any of these referees anymore in the Premier League. I just don't. And they've got good reason not to as well. I was saying this in my video. You hear on main streams like things about corruption. Sorry, can't use that word. I mean incompetence. I'll try to explain it. Go work in a real job and be incompetent at something. Find out. Go on. If you're incompetent for 2 weeks on your job, you're going to get fired. You can't be incompetent. This isn't incompetence. And I did want to do a story time with Cash because I did want to. There was a comment in there talking about the Cash. Have you ever watched Ref Watch when they talk about the camera angles and they've got all this camera technology? And I'm like, it's rubbish. It's not real. In 2014-15-ish, I was asked by the NFL. A friend of mine at Nike asked me from the NFL to ask me if I can figure out, see if I can get the 10 yards on the football, to do the as soon as a player will actually call out a ref. Oh yeah. One day it's going to happen. I'm telling you, one day, if I was managing, I would have just pulled my whole team off. If I was Nicolas Arteta, I would have just taken my whole team off the field and walked off. Go after 3 points. Find me. Go on. I'd have made a statement. Go on, find me. Go on. Watch what the refs do next week when the decision happens. The refs will absolutely shit themselves about me. I've done that twice, pulling off a whole team. Pulled the whole team off the field. Come on, everybody off the field. Let's go. We're done. That's what I would do. Watch the referees panic. When I did that, I can't remember where that was. I can remember the picture of the field, but I can't remember where it was. See the panic, the utter panic in the referee and the linesman when they suddenly realise they've been cheating you the whole game, and they have been, and you know they have been, and all of a sudden you go, no, ref, you've got no power here, ref, go away. You can't tell me what to do, ref. We'll walk from this game. And he's like, yeah, but you'll get fined, you'll lose the point. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being fined. I'm okay with it. You watch, they're like, whoa. I'm not okay with the corrupt referee. I'm just not okay with it, ref. The panic that sets in on that referee's face when he suddenly realises he's not in control and I'm taking my team off. So much fun. So much fun. I think a lot of players have been fined over the time, and that's how they stop players talking. So let me just go back to this camera stuff, right? They can't tell you when someone's, when they're doing that offsides line, they can't tell you when the ball has left that person's foot. It's a complete and utter lie. Utter lie. They don't have 0.00 microseconds on the timestamps on that clip of when the ball leaves his foot to when that play happens there. That is not synced up. It's not true. So when we're doing this stuff for the NFL, because they wanted us to see, okay, can we track, with all the cameras in the stadiums in the NFL, can we track the 10 yards for that ball, right? I'm not allowed to modify the ball. The only way that I could figure out to do it was flooding the stadium with microwave emissions and some radiation, and they weren't letting me do that. With all the camera technology and everything in the world, the only way to test it and to do that without modifying the ball is to flood that stadium with microwaves and radiation, which they wouldn't let me do. I don't know why. I showed them how we could do it, irradiate it, and we can track it, like basically making a mesh grid, and we can track everything perfectly. Other than that, you can't do it. Unless there's a chip in the ball, you can't do it. You can coat the ball in a covering, and then you can track the covering on the coat of the ball. But without that, you can't do it. So anyone telling you that all these camera angles and this and that and the other, you cannot do it, because they would have been doing it in the NFL for years. I worked on that project, and I'm telling you, it's not about me being a smart kiddie. I've got lots of smart friends. If we can't figure it out and it ain't available, it ain't available. What's your thoughts on the Saudis buying? Yeah, who cares? Yeah, that's just it's just another dead thing. EA Sports is just another dead thing, isn't it? So many dead video games that they've killed. Okay, so what we do have coming up, though, I did want to point this out, is we've got some good weekly fixtures coming up. Arsenal play West Ham. I actually think Arsenal will lose because West Ham's got a new manager. I think it's going to be hilarious listening to the Arsenal fans explain why they lost against West Ham. Like, that's going to be funny. Oh, we're going to win the league because we beat Newcastle. Even though Gabriel should have been sent off for that punch as well. That's another thing that no one's talking about. Walked up, straight up, punched somebody in the face. No one cares. It's okay. We'll just ignore that. Manchester United, Sunderland, and I do think Liverpool against Chelsea. I think Chelsea will win that if they don't get a player sent off. I don't think Liverpool are good enough at the moment to win that. Liverpool have got some time, but I just don't think they will. And on the Sunday, what do we have? What do we have on the Sunday? Why can I not find the Sunday fixtures? Ah, there we go. Crystal Palace lose away to Everton. I'm only joking, James. They're not going to lose. They'll be Everton. Nottingham Forest, Newcastle. I think that's a big one for Ange Postecoglou. No one cares about Aston Villa and Burnley. No one cares about Wolves and Brighton. Brentford and Manchester City. I do think Manchester City will lose to Brentford away. All that being said, boys and girls, we're about to wrap it up unless anyone's got any questions, and I'll jump in Discord in a little while. And if anyone is about, we can have a bit of a chat over there. I like my little XG. I'm going to keep that there, I think. I'm going to keep some of these little logos. I'm going to get rid of that one. It doesn't look like it fits. That one does. Constantly modifying our studio. Okay, guys, if there's no other questions, I'll see you next time and we'll wrap it up. And I'll catch